Have you ever found yourself saying yes, when, inside, everything in you was screaming no? Have you ever smiled to keep the peace, even when you were about to crumble inside? Maybe you are tired, exhausted, but you don't exactly know why. There is a type of suffering that leaves no visible marks. A silent, persistent pain, hard to name. And it arises when you start betraying yourself every day, one gesture at a time. You act as expected. You modulate your voice, choose the right words, hide what you feel. All to avoid bothering, to not disappoint, to be accepted. You adapt. And for a while, it even seems to work. People like you. You become reliable, pleasant, predictable. But behind this perfectly constructed social mask, a void begins to emerge. A discomfort that grows slowly. A feeling that something in you is being forgotten, left behind, suffocated. Carl Jung called this mask persona. It is necessary. We all need it to navigate the world, to participate in social life. But there is a real danger when we stop wearing the mask and start to become the mask. When we forget that behind the character there is a real person, with desires that don't fit, with anger that isn't polite, with thoughts that aren't pleasing. When this happens, something begins to break inside. You feel it, but you can't explain it. As if you were living someone else's life. As if you were an actor on a stage where the play never ends. This video is not about becoming a filterless rebel, nor about abandoning all forms of coexistence. It is about something deeper, recognizing when the need to be accepted is distancing you from who you really are. It is about stopping and looking inward, and facing the truth that you have been living more to please than to exist authentically. And believe me, this kind of self-abandonment comes at a cost, in the form of anxiety, of identity crises, of resentments you don't know where they come from, and of a deep, silent sadness. Here, we will talk about this straightforwardly. We will confront this destructive pattern of living for others. We will understand what Jung discovered about the relationship between the ego, the persona, and the unconscious. We will explore why the compulsion to please is not just a personality trait, but a symptom that you are disconnected from your essence. And more importantly, we will talk about the possible path back to yourself. This video is a mirror, and perhaps a punch in the stomach. But if you are here, it's because at some level, you already feel that you can't continue like this. So take a deep breath, because today's journey may shake everything you thought you knew about yourself. From an early age, you learned to behave, to hide what you feel so as not to hurt others, to control your impulses so as not to seem selfish, to smile even when you wanted to disappear. You learned that, to be accepted, you needed to be convenient. And thus, without realizing it, you shaped a socially acceptable version of yourself, a persona. The persona, as Jung described, is a psychic construct, a kind of character we create to interact with the outside world. It is important, even necessary. It is thanks to it that we can work, participate in groups, live in society. The problem begins when we stop seeing the persona as a functional mask and start to believe that it is who we are. You act as if you are always calm, even when you are boiling inside. You become that person who is always available, always helpful, always balanced, because that is the role they have learned to expect from you. But the truth is that every time you pretend to be okay when you are not, every time you ignore your anger to avoid conflict, every time you say, "It's fine," when everything in you says it isn't, a small piece of you is silenced. This continuous repetition of internal denials creates cracks, and these cracks accumulate. Over time, the person behind the mask begins to disappear. You no longer